Hey everybody, and welcome back to Investment Honey, where we talk about various crypto projects. Just a couple of reminders: I am not your financial advisor, and we never provide investment advice on the channel. So, with that being said, as you can see, and like I've said before, we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. If you want to go ahead and get some introductions out of the way in terms of what's going on here, you're always more than welcome to go back to the first video that was completed in the series called Day One. That was recorded a couple of days ago. So if you're new, to the channel, somebody told you about the series going on here, you're always welcome. I would encourage you to go back, to the first video, see what's going on, so you can kind of follow along with the format, or you can just go ahead and jump in with this one. So, but I have this highlighted here. This is one of the tokens that we talked about yesterday. Called Hero, Justice for Luigi. Now, may seem kind of silly, but I literally didn't know this was the guy, associated with that whole healthcare nonsense, as far as what took place, so some of the information, what I was talking about yesterday, I was like, who is this guy? So I looked into it yesterday. And so I just wanted to clarify that. But either way, like I said, I wanted to highlight this because this was one of the ones that we talked about yesterday. And this is a screenshot that I took from the video to show you basically the market cap, when this was discussed, when we found it, after we put the filters into Dexscreener, and this was one of the tabs that were opened, right? So again, it was at 145K, and you can see here in this other tab here that we're sitting at 277K. But interestingly enough, here's basically where we were yesterday, in terms of the video. Okay, actually even below the pricing, here at that 0.002686. Okay, because again, we can come back here and we can see we were at 0.001462. Okay, but this went on a run. So this was definitely a winner yesterday. And like I said, in the day one video, we're not always going to, in these videos, come across, a token that's actually going to make a run. Again, what are we looking for? We're looking to look at the charts. We're looking at the communities. We're trying to figure out, are we coming across anything that may have some potential, to do anything, right? And we're setting those alerts, as indicators to help us, keep an eye on what's going on without having to necessarily babysit the chart. But the all-time high yesterday, it was over 2 million, so if this was one, obviously not even if, obviously we saw this yesterday and we took a look at it, briefly, in the video. And if this was something that you kept on a watch list, or maybe, because you saw it in the video, you decided to, set some alerts on your own. Actually, this one did very well, so I didn't count the X's necessarily, but, at 2 million, obviously this was more than a 10X, especially, if you decided to take an entry after the video was uploaded to YouTube. And I typically, do a little bit of editing, to the videos right after they're done, and then I get them uploaded right away. So there was plenty of time to still take an entry. And obviously, on this channel that I'm not going to encourage you to jump into anything. We don't provide you with any sort of investment advice, because that is definitely a no-no. And I've never done that. All the, videos that have been done, on this channel, which has been over, I think we're sitting at over 1.3 thousand videos that have been done on the channel. So keep in mind, I don't ever encourage you guys to jump in anything, because again, crypto is very volatile. But what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go ahead and show you tokens that, may be something to, put on a watch list, and maybe something to keep an eye on. And this was obviously, as I look at all the, let's see here, all the alerts that we set yesterday, and I left this window open just to go ahead and show you the alerts that were created yesterday. And I didn't show you this before. You can go here, you can click on recently created, and you can click on recently triggered as well to show you. And like I've said before, I think I said this in the first video, that when you see this disabled, it means that it triggered. Okay, so, and then you can click on this that resets the alert. You can click on edit, and then you can make any changes to the alert, and then you can click on save, and then it will update the alert. Okay, so, and even this one right here, Catnips, this one actually moved, yesterday. But then it basically just, wet the bed, after some hours. I think it's sitting at like a 20,000, market cap right now. So it looked decent, for a little while, and then it just completely just dumped. And that's, those are things that can happen. So just keep that in mind. Just because it looks like it's going to move, again, these alerts are indicators. They're not necessarily a signal to go ahead and either jump in or decide to forget it. You have to continue to make some evaluation on your own beyond what these indicators, that you're setting will do for you. Okay, and in my opinion, it's going to be me either looking at the chart or going to the community. It could be a combination of both, and making a decision, or maybe I'm just going to watch it a little bit more before I decide to possibly, make a move on that particular token. So, and like I said, the rest of these, they really didn't do anything, but Hero was the one that really took off yesterday. So I left this open just so you could see the alerts and so forth. So that's all I was going to say in regards to Hero. That this was the market cap at the time of the when the video was done, and then obviously it took off to over 2 million yesterday at the high. All right, so I'm going to close out these two. Okay, and then this one I have open because after the video was done, my alerts, or not the alerts, but the filters, I didn't make any changes to the filters. I just kept the window open, so, and this is a token that popped up yesterday after the video was done. And so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll take a look, at it. And I did take a look at it. And then I posted, after taking a look at the community and so forth, I was like, this is not too bad. And I went ahead and I posted on X, I think the market cap, on my X channel was at 115. And then, and I don't always do this, but I posted on X and then I posted to the main channel. A lot of times if I'm going to post on X, I'll just post on X, and that community will have their own calls, and then my main channel will have its own calls. But yeah, I went ahead and I posted this, and this went to over somewhere in the neighborhood of about, 300K last night. And so it did do, because I think I posted on the main channel at 140, in the 140-ish K area. And so it already did, more than a 2X, last night. And so been heavy retracement, from their high, and you can see that, you want to see that consolidation. And so it's starting to, make a move again. Now, obviously these New Year's tokens, because there's another one that I posted on the main channel. And I think, let me see here. Let me go back there. And you can, let's see here. Let's see. Where was it? No. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Nope, that's the new one. All right. It was 2025X, I think, is what it was called. But it was a New Year's token. So, and you know what? Here's it. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I posted this one, and what day was that? Around the 1st. So this one was a New Year's token I posted at 76K. It actually, did a 2X, but right now it's not really doing much, much else from there. But, even with that being said, this New Year's token, has done, pretty well. So I'm just putting that out there, that the reason why that's relevant for the context of this video is because it was found. It was found in Dexscreener, using the filters. So just keep that in mind. So this is just another look at the Hero token, just the chart, so another view of it. I've got this one on the 5-minute chart, so you can see that parabolic run. And then anytime you've got like a candle like this, there's going to be retracement. I've told you guys that before, so just keep that in mind. That there's nothing unusual about that. So when you are seeing that maybe you're in a token and it's making a big move like this, I always encourage the use of bots if you're going to be trading. I have tested several different bots, Maestro, Trojan, Banana Bot, DeFi Cafe, and a couple others. I find that Maestro just has the largest suite, of tools that are really, really effective. And so that's the one that I encourage, to use, through the trading links, that are in my main channel, the links that I use through the X channel, and which you'll also find in the description of each video for the Dexscreener series. You will have that Maestro bot link, so it just gets you in and out of the trades, very fast, You know, and it's basically what everybody's doing now, because, you know, you want to get into, you know, anybody's trading, you want to get into those, in and out of those trades very quickly, you know, so manual trading just doesn't make any sense. So, and I do find that I haven't had any issues whatsoever, you know, even being, you know, even with wallets being compromised, I haven't had any issues whatsoever in nearly a year of using Maestro. So, all right, so that aside, I'm going to close out this, and then you can see what's going on here, you know, in the 2025 token as well. Like I said, the coolest thing about this is that even though we didn't find it when the video was being recorded yesterday, it showed up after the fact. And so after taking a look at it, you know, this actually did really well. So just want to make you guys aware, it doesn't always happen like this, okay? But I've said it before, you know, as far as why we're doing the Dexscreener series, that it does help us to find tokens that, you know, before somebody else shills it to you, that may have a chance to go ahead and make some gains for you, should you decide to take an entry, you know, into the token. So with all that, you know, being said, we're going to go ahead and jump out of all that, and then we're going to get into the meat, you know, of why we're doing the Dexscreener series, you know. So we're going to do our customization as always. So we're going to get rid of the price, transactions, volume, and makers. We're going to leave the time, 5 minute, 1 hour, 6 hour, 24 hour. We're going to get rid of liquidity, and we're going to click apply. So we've changed the view. This is what I tend to prefer to see. We're going to go into our filters. Today, I think we're going to focus on ETH, or at least we're going to start out with ETH, you know, so there we go. And the DEX, we're going to go to Uniswap, because that's the one that I prefer, and I really don't care about the rest of them. So remember, liquidity, I don't ever touch that. We're going to start out with a $50,000 market cap, and we're going to go to, I don't know, let's say 250 today. Okay, and pair age, we're going to do, not looking at anything super new. Let's look at 2 days, and 2 days to a week. All right, and 24-hour change, let's keep that at 10%. Okay, so we got 5. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. All right, cool. So, and I always do this. I always tick on the 24-hour, just because I want to see where the greatest gain in 24 hours, you know, was or took place. And we're going to go ahead and start opening up these tabs. Since we only got 6 of them here, what is it, 6? No, it's 5. We're just going to open them all up, and we're going to take a look at the charts and see what we got. So we're going to move over to, since this is starting out at 48 hours, we're going to move over to the 1 hour. Okay, so let's do that. Here we go. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, so Doomer, you know, this doesn't look bad. I mean, look, as far as any concerns for me pertaining to the pattern on the chart, I don't necessarily have a concern there, okay? So we see that they're at a $167,000 market cap. We see that we've got a pretty decent spike here. My guess is that this $1,500 buy has a lot to do with that, the $1,800 buy. So it's not like a bunch of buy. You've got a few buys that are really creating, you know, this candle right here. So just be aware of that. Sometimes, you know, when you see a candle like that and you're thinking, you know, about, well, that looks pretty good. It looks like, you know, this might be starting to take off. I tend to be a little bit suspicious of that, you know, because it could be that now that you've, you know, seen this candle, you know, and I'm not a fan of buying the top of a candle, you know, as soon as you go ahead and get in, you know, anybody else that's got an entry below this, or maybe even down here, is thinking, you know, if that buy pressure doesn't continue, they're going to go ahead and they're going to sell. And then you're going to have to wait until another series of buys comes in before you can even break even. So I'm not a fan of that. So what we're going to do, as always, we can check out the Telegram first, and then we can go ahead and take a look at the alerts. So, all right, so let's see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say no to, or don't show this warning again, just for the sake of the video. And we're going to go into our Telegram and see what's going on. Okay, so here we go. We get a portal. I'm going to close out the rest of these. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we got 162 members in the group. Looks like we got some raids going. Looks like it's a CTO. Remember, CTO stands for Community Takeover. Okay, so we're gonna see what we got going on in the pinned messages. We see, something on X. All right, we got major bot trending. Okay, so they're looking for the community members to vote. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm seeing some stuff, in regards to TikTok. That seems to be, the big thing now. Push, to get some exposure on TikTok. And I think a lot of that has to do, with what happened with Chill Guy, because I think TikTok, really helped to, move and get some more exposure, that led to their success. So a lot of people are talking about, getting onto TikTok. So, I'm not really seeing anything in terms of like, messages from the team, for growth per se. So we see that they're trying, they wanted to get their blue tick, on X. So they paid. Okay, this is the marketing wallets. Okay, and for CTOs, they definitely want to go ahead and push, marketing wallets. I will say this, and it's not anything against CTOs, but you got to be really careful with some of these CTOs because, recently, there was another friend of mine, that I talked to, and he was in I don't know that it was a CTO, but it was donations to a marketing wallet, and they had all these people go ahead and donate to the marketing wallet. Once they got a certain amount of funds, then they went ahead and they essentially just rug the project. So keep that in mind, as far as, donations to marketing wallets. I'm not saying look, I'm not putting that out there to say that, every project that's looking for you to donate to a marketing wallet is going to go ahead and do that. That is definitely not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you always got to go ahead and ask questions. You got to be careful, do whatever evaluation you can in terms of understanding, what's legitimate and what's not, and who's actually, in control, the marketing wallets, who's actually, running the project and so forth. Just common sense questions you need to ask, if you're going to decide to work for your bag or contribute to a marketing wallet, in a project that you may already, taken an entry in. Okay, so it looks like, they're doing some stuff, trying to go ahead and move the token. Obviously, rating is one of the first things, and obviously, you need funds, so I don't know for this one. Let's go back, to this, and I'm running in a different browser. That's why you're seeing that light theme. Because I found in Brave, I don't know, the alerts weren't triggering right away. So I don't know. I'm going to see how it goes in this browser. I'm using LibreWolf, today. So we'll see how it goes. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and set a couple alerts for this. Remember, when we set the alerts, we're setting two alerts, one to go over a certain amount and one to go under. So remember, when I go ahead and do the alerts, I'm not interested in pricing USD, pricing the native token. I'm interested in market cap because I think this is the easiest to follow. So we're going to set this at 185. And I don't stray too far, from the actual posted market cap at the time that I set the alert. Just because, again, I want something that's an indicator that I can evaluate and see, is this, the start of the direction that I want it to move in, and, make some, other assessments, as far as whether I think it might make sense to take an entry or not. Okay, so we're going to create that alert, and we're going to go to the bottom side of this, and we're going to set this at, I don't know, let's go 125. So I know that's a little bit further deviation from what I would usually set, but you know what I mean. Everything about this is fluid. So you can make those decisions, not a big deal. Okay, and you just have to figure out what works for you. So we're going to close this out. Again, the nice thing about setting these alerts, once you set them, the alerts will show up, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And this is, again, some of this information that I may repeat from video to video. I don't know who's followed me from day one, and I don't know who's brand new. So for those of you that may be annoyed, and I don't know, I'm just making that guess, that if you get annoyed that I may repeat some of the same things, that's really, why I'm doing it. I don't know who's new, and I don't know who's been following me for a while. The other thing is, in education, in teaching, by trade, I've been an educator by trade. I've also, worked as an administrator, in education, so my thing is, when it comes down to education, what are you constantly doing? You're constantly reinforcing concepts, so you're going to find that, as this is a tutorial, as this is education, as this is me trying to help you understand, how to utilize Dexscreener the way that I utilize Dexscreener to find tokens early. I'm going to be repeating some things. I'm going to be reinforcing those concepts, so the more that you hear it, you apply it on your own beyond the content and what you see in the video. And that also helps you so that you're not thinking about this all the time. It just becomes repetitive and becomes unconscious so that you just do it automatically. Okay, so just understand that's my process. So looking at Doge Sun, this is one that I've actually, watched for, I don't know, for a few days, just to kind of see, what's going on with this. I still think, personally, I like what's going on here with the chart, even though they had a pretty good, launch. And we see there have been times where it really, really dropped hard, right? But in spite of the retracement, what do you see? We see buy pressure. Retracement again, what do we see? Another buy pressure. What do we see? Retracement again, we see buy pressure. And we continue to see some retracement, but even here at these bottom levels, right? And this is days after the launch, we continue to still see buy pressure. So I don't know. I mean, to me, there might be a catalyst, for this to maybe head to previous all-time highs. I don't know. It's speculative, but it's also, having watched a number of different charts, over the time that I've been in, crypto, that I think that there's a possibility. I mean, we're not seeing, we saw a bunch of sell pressure here, right? But even with that being said, we still see there's interest in this token, so these are the kind of indicators that I would want to see that would keep my interest, particularly any token where I think that maybe, and again, I don't know for sure, but there's a possibility that this could still go up. Now, even understanding some chart patterns, and it's really difficult to do TA, on low caps, right? But seeing stuff like this little hammer right here, this typically does, at least in my experience, indicate that there may be buy pressure that may be returning to the chart. Okay, doesn't mean, anytime we get buy pressure, we also get sell pressure too, right? Because buys are accompanied by sells, and that's healthy for a chart. But this to me is something that does catch my interest. Okay, doesn't tell me for sure that I'm going to go ahead and take an entry, but it does catch my interest enough where I may want to continue to pay attention to this. Okay, so we can also see in the buy transactions, for charts that are dying out, you're not seeing people dumping $400, $200, nearly $1,000 back into a chart, and they're separate wallets. They're different wallets, so you're not always seeing that kind of stuff, so again, it doesn't guarantee anything. But it is something that maybe you might want to pay attention to, maybe set an alert. For this one in particular, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Telegram real quick. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's get in here. Let's get into our portal. Let's get our link. Let's join the group. All right, so we can see they've got some raids going on. Okay, they fixed their token sniffer. Okay, so there's only a few pinned messages. This is a CTO, right? So with that being said, we're going to close this out and go back. First things first, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure that I set some alerts here, and then I'm going to close it out, right? Because I've already taken a look at what I need to see in the Telegram. I personally want to see more communication as far as like pinned messages, but that's not the be all end all to things, as far as that's concerned. Again, these are all just kind of things that work into the greater context of what helps you in terms of your analysis and evaluation of the token. So again, we're going to market cap. Here we're at 162. I'm going to set this for 180. I think maybe at 180, that might, I don't know. Let's go to 185. Okay, so we're going to set that there, and then here going under. And I think maybe if it drops to 125, for me personally, I think I'd go ahead and take another look at it and then see, what do I think I want to do here? And if I see continued retracement, I may leave this one alone altogether. But if I continue to see, after let's say in the event that the alert gets triggered that it's hit 185, and I continue and I watch, that chart, maybe if it continues to go up, I may go ahead and say, okay, maybe, I might throw something in there. But, and I'm saying maybe because again, you just don't know. Everything is about, just watching and, You know, not necessarily, I mean, for me personally, you know, it might be something that's very small in terms of, you know, whatever denomination I may put into it. Just because, again, when you're looking at a chart on the bottom levels, you've also got people that are in loss. You know, so if they're seeing, you know, buys coming in, and let's say maybe they bought in over here and they never got out. If they're seeing, like I said, I think in yesterday's video, that buys are coming in and they want to mitigate those losses. And so in mitigating those losses, you're still going to see some sells. But I think it is encouraging that even after this $1,000 buy, you didn't get a sell right away. So there's already been a bunch of sells, right? You know, so I do think at some point, you know, when you start to get to these bottom levels, you know, your sell pressure does actually start to lower or lessen because you've already got a bunch of people that have already sold. So these higher buys or these larger buys may have a chance to breathe and survive, you know, even on a chart, you know, at the lower levels, you know. So that's also something to keep in mind. Okay, so I've already set the alerts, you know, for this. Okay, and the other thing I didn't mention is that even when you set your alerts here, you can always see the number of alerts that you've set, and you can always click on this over here in this panel, and you can see what your alerts are. And as you don't need them anymore, you can get rid of them, and it adjusts it, you know, for you. So the other thing is you can also log in. You know, you can sign in, you know, to Dexscreener. So I don't ever sign in because I don't really, you know, clear out my cache, you know, a whole lot, you know, on the browser, so it tends to keep a lot of my history. But either way, you can sign in if you don't want to, you know, lose the alerts. And I would recommend, you know, that you know, if you're somebody that wants to set a lot of alerts and you don't want to lose them, you know, definitely go ahead and just sign in, you know, so that you can keep track of those and you know, and so forth. So let's go ahead and let's close this one out. Mini Doge. So, all right, so we've got a chart where we see a big spike up and then we see lots and lots and lots of retracement. And then every time you see that buy, what happens? You get in the retracement and we're seeing lower lows. So low, and then it's lower, and then it's lower, right? So this is one where I'm not so sure that this one's going to be going anywhere. I think this is probably one of the riskier kind of charts to be looking at and thinking you're going to be taking an entry, because more than likely, if you take an entry looking at the pattern that's going on in this chart, more than likely the moment you buy in, it's probably going to get eaten by a sell, and you're already going to be at a loss. So for this one personally, I'm not so interested in taking a look, you know, at it with interest, you know, but for the sake of the video, let's see what's going on in the Telegram, because sometimes the Telegram can also tell us something different that we may not see from the chart alone. So, and here's another issue, okay, and this may also translate into what's going on, you know, on the chart, is the fact that you don't have a portal, okay? So you don't have a real community of anybody talking. We've just got some things that have been posted, you know, here, you know, associated, you know, with their Telegram link. And this is not helpful, you know. So for me personally, it does also reinforce, you know, what I said before, that when you're looking at all this retracement, this is a very risky chart, and there's nothing that would tell anybody looking to go ahead and maybe take an entry on this chart that this is going to recover. There's no chat going on. There's no feedback really from the team. There's no community engagement. There's nothing here, guys. You know, so the chart reflects that. As soon as we checked out the Telegram link, that also confirms that. So I think it's just a matter of time before this one is probably completely dead. Okay, so we're gonna close this one out. Here, this is a chart pattern that I don't like. I think this chart pattern looks very unhealthy. It's not typically what you would normally see on a healthy chart. This chart has been going, or this pair was created 4 days ago. And this is what you got going on. When there is this kind of chart, there should be more sells taking place. You've got a bunch of buys here, a green wall, and nobody is sitting on a chart like this for days and just letting buys like this just sit here. Nobody's doing that. So this already tells me that this is not the kind of chart or a token that I'd be interested in, you know, taking seriously. Just wouldn't. Okay, so for this one, and we also don't see any kind of socials, so that's also another red flag, you know, for me concerning this one. So this is one we want to leave alone. All right, and then we've got this one. It's tips with AI. I don't necessarily care for the chart pattern on this one either. I think this looks a little odd to me in terms of, what tends to resonate with me concerning what's healthy. And the first thing that I'm going to want to do, and this has been alive for just over 2 days. I want to take a look at the Telegram, see what's going on there. So here we go. All right, so we got a portal. Okay, so we're going to click start and we're going to jump in there. Okay, so, okay. Now, again, I'm going to tell you the chart looks a little odd to me. Okay, but it's not just about the chart alone. You want to take a look at other things to put together a story, a complete story into a picture as far as, what's going on with this. All right, so we're going to go back in to their Telegram so we can see they've got some, a raid going. Okay, I'm going to go back. Okay, so here, and we've got some pinned messages, so that's encouraging. Okay, so they've got an X account. All right, so not really sure what this is. Forwarded from somebody. Okay, so they're basically saying that they went ahead and they decided to go ahead and jump into this, or telling their community that. Okay, from Furious Plays. Okay, apparently this may be an exchange, listing date, which seems kind of odd actually when you take a look at a chart like this. What exchange is going to be listing a token it's 2 days old with a chart like this? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go to the next one here. Okay, comment your currency. Okay, let's keep going. We got some, just a bunch of stuff from X. Okay, so this is obviously from SPY DeFi that they just entered trending. So I'm guessing they paid for that. Okay, so that is positive. Where's the function to send to bank? I don't really understand, what that is. And that's just my first glance at it. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, this one to me it just seems kind of odd to me. They've got a supply burn. Okay, some renouncement. Okay, great. So yeah, this one to me, I guess, look, I'll set an alert, but I'm telling you, this is the kind of one where just looking at the chart alone, I just think this looks a little odd to me. This doesn't resemble the kind of chart I'd be looking for. But, out of curiosity, let's go ahead and let's set some alerts. So let's see here. We're going to go to market cap. We're at 93. Let's see. For this one, I'm going to set this at 150. Now, granted, yes, this is a higher deviation from what I would normally set. But like I said, I feel like looking at this chart, it's more likely to go down than it is to go up. Okay, that's just my own gut feeling about this. So it goes under 93. I'm going to set it for 75,000. Okay, and we're going to see. Either I'm right or wrong about this. But this is one I think I'm interested in watching because it looks odd to me. And my first instinct tells me this is likely not going to continue to move up. This is probably going to go down. And we'll see if I'm right or wrong about that. So we're going to close this out. Okay, so that's us focusing on ETH. And we'll stay on the ETH chain. Let's see what's going on that's maybe newer. So let's go to 8 to 24. We'll just take a look at a few more before we call it a day on this video. Okay, so all right, we're already taking the 24 here. So we got Santa's little helper. Nothing wrong with the little holiday token. We'll just take the first 3 and let's see what we got going on. Okay, so we're taking a look at some charts. Ooh, I don't like that chart already. Anytime I get like this white border, you'll find that I'll go ahead and I'll refresh the screen just because I'm not really sure why it shows up like that, but it should not show up like that. We don't want to see that white border. Okay, all right. So this one I can tell you already, I've got no interest in taking a look at this. Now, obviously it's newer. I'm going to go to the 1 minute and see what it shows me. Yeah, this is not typical. Not typical at all. So this is the kind of chart that I would say, no way, no how, that I would be interested in taking a look at this. Plus, we also don't have any socials, so this one's a no right away. This one right here, Lord Keck, we see, they got a pretty decent launch, so they peaked pretty well and just nothing but continued retracement, on this one. So And this one looks like a risky chart to me. Now I'm going to take a look at Pepe right here, and then we're going to come back to this and we're going to take a look, and see. Actually, we can't even do that. I thought I saw, socials, but I don't see any socials. So this one is a no. I don't see any socials here, and I see continued retracement, even though we had, a bit of a bump, right back here. But I think a lot of these people were in loss, which is why I think that even after we get some buys here, that we get that continued retracement. So we're going to leave this one alone as well. And here we do get some socials, so we'll take a look here. But we got we got the peak, the obvious launch candle, and then we get the huge retracement, from anybody that got in early, and they're taking profits. Obviously, we get a little bit of a bump here, more retracement, buy back up, more retracement. So I don't really like what's going on here with the chart because there's just so much sell pressure. Okay, so we're going to take a look, at the Telegram. See what we got going on here. We get a portal. Great. Okay, so there we go. All right, so let's see what's going on. And can't send any messages in the group. That is not, we've talked about this, before. I think I said it in the first video. It's not necessarily, something that you look at where it's like, hey, oh, this is not good at all. But when you look at this and then also compare it to what we're seeing on the chart, I don't like the fact that we're seeing so much retracement, and then when you head back over, to their channel, that there's no community engagement. Nobody is allowed to talk. And then we can see here they're talking about migrations. Okay, just a first grant, migrate the old token, form a new part. Yeah, this right here already tells me this is bad news. So a brand new token, and they're talking about retracement or sending tokens to somebody else with your wallet information. Yeah, no, this is obviously a scam. So this is something that you don't want to touch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave this as well, and we're going to head back here. So that's a no. So, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and call it a day, as far as this video is concerned. Want to thank you guys, again, as always, for showing up and taking a look, at the content here, on the channel. Hopefully you're getting something out of it, so, and like we saw yesterday, we went ahead and we looked at some stuff, and we had one that came out as a clear winner in terms of actually making some movement, from that 145, K market cap area all the way to over 2 million. That, again, I keep reminding you guys, that's not always going to be the case, but as I show you guys, as we open up some tabs and we look at different tokens, maybe we find something, maybe something shows up later, like it did yesterday for me. Maybe it will do the same for you, but again, we're going to go ahead and do this day by day. And yes, I mentioned this before, there may be some days, where I don't go ahead and show up and do a video, and that's probably because as we're heading into the holidays, I can tell you already right now, there's going to be time where I'm not going to be here to be able to record a video, so, and especially with Christmas coming up and New Year's, that's likely going to be the case. But as often as I can, if I don't have anything going on, you're going to see me show up, and we're going to do another video and open up some tokens and see what we can find in the central goal of trying to find, tokens early. So again, if you're not part of the call channel, if you're not part of the X channel, make sure you take a look at those links, in the description, and make sure that you get connected, there, so that you can follow me on the other channels that I'm on, as far as trying to spot different opportunities where maybe you can take an entry into some tokens if that's what you want to do. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. And with that said, you guys enjoy the day.